I think we'll want to use this bit of interview, don't you agree?
Now for a transition of some kind.
Yes. I want Cassie to work on this, too. I think as a student
Dread.
she should be...
Huh?
Dread. Dread. It's one of the things we're going to have to deal with in this program.
Jenny, what are you talking about?
Well, don't you remember in college, the instructor always wanted to see a thesis sentence, right?
Yeah, usually.
And it's still the same.
Well, I can remember the dread I felt at trying to come up with a thesis sentence for this paper.
Something you wrote in college?
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, Gwen. I've got to see this.
I dug it out of an old trunk. I thought it might be useful in the script.
A case for banning professional boxing?
Uh-huh.
Jenny, you never told me about this side of your life.
Well, I don't care for people destroying each other, if that's what you mean. But the point is, it has a pretty good thesis sentence, and it was written by a genuine college freshman. Me.
But, Jenny, boxing is one of the ultimate sports. If I could just take you to Madison Square Garden for one night...
Norman, forget the subject, please. That's hardly the issue. Anyway, the idea of using one of Jenny's college essays sounds rather interesting. Don't you agree?
It depends. I mean, why in the world would you want to drag down professional boxing?
Well, to understand that, Norman, you're going to have to hear the opening paragraph.
Go ahead.
A case for banning professional boxing. One of the underlying challenges of sports is competition, one athlete pitted against another. But when competition is reduced to brutal combat aimed at destroying a fellow athlete, the very concept of sports is degraded. Professional boxing should be banned because it celebrates the basest instincts of mankind and fulfills few of the qualities we value in competitive sport.
Ha!
Well, the idea is to take the thesis sentence, the last sentence in the paragraph, and use it as an illustration for our definition.
And do you have a definition?
Yes.
Well, go ahead with it.
A thesis sentence is simply a concise statement near the opening of an essay that states the central idea of the paper.
Well, it's a start, but it's hardly complete.
Well, Norm, I thought you could add all the flourish we need.
Oh, and I'm sure you want me to direct everything to that irreverent essay, right?
Well, yes, I thought...
Jenny, for the sake of harmony, maybe we could find a different topic.
Well, I thought it would really contribute to
I know,
But for the sake of harmony, I'll let it go.
Meanwhile, we were about to start going through the Hairston interview tape.
Weren't you going to wait for Cassie?
Why?
Well, she is going to write the paper we're going to analyze in the script.
Yes, I think you're right. We could break for lunch, I suppose.
Lunch was the second thing I had on my mind. Hey, let's all go to a fancy place.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have an appointment downtown.
How about you, Jenny? Look, just to show you there's no hard feelings, I'll take you to my favorite French restaurant.
Oh, you mean the place where you can order wine with your hamburgers?
On second thought, lunch alone today might not be such a bad idea.
Well, I'll see you both later.
Norman! Hi. Oh, you would be eating, and I am starved.
Well, Cassie, you can have anything I have here. Let's see, we have a paper plate, a napkin, an empty soda bottle.
Thank you, Norman. And I have something for you, too.
What's that?
Oh, essays. Authentic examples from real students. Gwen asked me to pick them up from a friend of hers in the English department.
All right. Let's see what students are writing about these days.
Is this the right place? Hey, Cassie.
Darwin, where have you been? I waited for 30 minutes in the cafeteria for you.
I'm really sorry, Cassie. I got stuck at work.
Norm, this is Darwin Sands. He's a friend and fellow classmate.
You must be one of the writers.
Hey, you must be one of the students.
Yeah, full-time student, nearly full-time mechanic.
Hey, a job in college at the same time. Sounds pretty tough, huh? But you won't be sorry.
Yeah, that's what my wife and Cassie keep telling me. Hey, look, Cassie. I got started on this thing, but man, do I need some help.
Well, Darwin, I said I could help you during lunch, but now I've got work to do here.
Well, could you just take a few seconds so we can see what I got so far?
The effects of motion pictures on the youth of America. Isn't that a pretty broad subject for a 3-page essay?
Well, I want to make sure I have plenty of information. Look, 3 books and the library's full of articles.
Well, you've got a lot of ideas, Darwin. You're just going to have to focus in on something, that's all.
Well, I've tried. I was hoping you could kind of help me get the thing started, you know, kind of rolling along.
All right, tomorrow after class, and I'll have a lot more time, okay?
It's due tomorrow, Cassie, and if I blow another one of these, I'm out.
Okay, well, I am starved, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to run down to the corner store and bring back a sandwich, and we can talk while I eat, okay?
Hey, that'd be great.
But honestly, Darwin, that's all the time I have. And, why don't you write down some of the ideas that you want to go over, okay?
Oh, okay. I promise
All right.
I'll try.
All right. Bye-bye.
Writing a paper, huh?
Yeah, for sociology.
Cassie's helping you?
Oh, well, the truth is I kind of talked her into it. Janet, that's my wife, and Cassie have a history class together. We ran into her last night at the library while I was trying to get this thing going.
Mm-hmm. What's the subject?
Well, that's one of my problems. You see, the assignment is to write about how entertainment affects society, so it's pretty open.
No, that's part of the problem. You know, anytime you get a topic that broad, you'll have to narrow it down. Let's see what you got there. Ah, movies, huh?
Yeah, Cassie helped me come up with that.
I bet she had you doing some brainstorming.
Hey, yeah, that's right. She and Janet helped me. That's how I got the topic.
Oh.
Then Cassie had me doing something called free writing.
Ah, yes. Just letting the ideas flow and writing them down without questions. Listen, it works. I use it all the time.
Yeah. I got a lot of ideas, and I sort of got them organized.
I see you've done some research, too.
Yeah, I guess I ought to be ready to start writing, but I don't know. I just can't seem to get a good handle on it.
Well, let's see what you've got so far, huh? Oh, yeah, it's way too broad, you know. This is a topic for a book, not an essay. Well, before you start writing, you've got some more pre-writing to do.
I do.
Yep. Look, start by asking questions to focus your thinking. You know, who, what, why, how, where, when.
Oh, no. Well, Cassie did sort of explain that to me, but I just didn't want to take time for that.
Listen, these questions will help make connections among all the ideas you've come up with. Go ahead, start asking yourself the questions.
Well, I guess I'm not really ready to start writing yet. I probably should do some more thinking about my topic.
Okay, but at least you've got an idea on how to explore the topic. And when you sit down and you're ready to start writing, you're going to want to come up with a good thesis sentence.
Oh, yeah, the thesis sentence.
Ah, yes, the dreaded thesis sentence. Darwin, don't worry about the thesis sentence. Once you've decided on a solid topic.
You mean like whether films are a good influence or maybe a bad influence?
That's right. You'll develop your thesis sentence out of that. Now, here, look at this. Okay, the topic here is, well, boxing. Anyway, listen to this. Professional boxing should be banned because it celebrates the basest instincts of mankind and fulfills few of the qualities we value in competitive sports.
You believe that?
What? Oh, no. I didn't write this. It's just an example. I mean, poor thinking, but a pretty good thesis sentence.
I was inter-service boxing champ when I was in the Navy.
In the Navy? No kidding. Well, look, forget what the sentence says, but it does take a stand, right?
Yeah, it says boxing should be banned.
And you know what to expect from the rest of the paper.
Yeah, you can expect somebody's about to run boxing down.
Mm-hmm. And how does the paper propose to do that? Here, look at it.
Relating boxing to basest instincts and lack of values.
Yeah, that's what it does, all right. And you'll have to do the same thing with movies. Well, I don't mean run them down necessarily.
You mean like state a position and show how I'm going to support it?
Yeah, that's it. Now, you've got what you need to go to work, and I've got what I need.
Norm.
Yeah?
Don't you think it would be better if people wrote about something, well, something they know more about?
Yeah, sure, but you don't always have that privilege. You know, sometimes you have to develop an opinion from research.
But I was thinking about boxing. I mean, my teacher didn't mention it in the assignment, but I bet she'd let me work with it. and it would be a lot easier for me.
But easier isn't always better. Besides, boxing is a very big subject.
Well, I was thinking of narrowing it down to something like this. Maybe I can write why boxing shouldn't be banned.
Sounds like a noble position. But why shouldn't it?
Well, I got some ideas, but I'm going to have to do some more research.
That's right. Get your research in, get your facts in, your opinions, and then back them up with facts and expert opinions.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to try it. Yeah, I'm going to try it. Thanks, Norm. I wish I'd thought of this 3 days ago.
You're going now?
Yeah, I got to get the topic approved by my teacher, over to the library, and then I can start writing.
Oh, Darwin, this is Jenny.
Hi. Cassie, I got to tell you, this man is a genius.
Oh, listen,
I got
Darwin is the guy that's writing the essay I was telling you about.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have a good advisor here.
Yeah, and I think I got a good place to start. But can I call you here later if I need help?
I'll be here.
I'll call here.
Working.
Don't worry about him, Cassie. Darwin's a pretty smart guy.
He's a good student, too, but you know what? His wife says every time he has to write something, he gets so discouraged.
It didn't look too discouraged to me.
Well, now that we've decided not to use my essay, I guess we better
No
come
hard feelings?
All right, I'll break down and be a good sport about it. Anyway, we have to come up with another illustration for the definition.
What was the essay?
Oh, just one of my college masterpieces.
Well, maybe this interview with Dr. Maxine Hairston might help Jenny. I want to spend some time discussing her views. And right here she describes a thesis sentence in terms of its function as a generator of ideas.
There are lots of terms we use now that really mean thesis sentence that are sort of new. I think the one I like the best is called a generative sentence. This comes from Christensen's approach to writing. The Francis Christensen's idea that one writes a sentence which in turn generates ideas that then will be discussed in a piece of writing. And it seems to me that this is a very useful concept for any writer to think, what kind of commitment am I making here when I write this particular sentence? Now, a rather typical generative sentence, I suppose, would be, well, if we talk about writing itself. In the past 10 years, there have been major changes in the teaching of composition. That can act as a thesis sentence. It can act as a generative sentence. But what that sentence does is commit the writer to go on and discuss what these changes are. This is not the kind of sentence that you just go off and leave. And this is an important concept for students to know about. I think that one of the troubles with amateur writers, people who are not experienced, is that they don't realize that generalizations by themselves are not very useful, that those generalizations have to be supported with specific ideas, if possible, with examples. And a thesis sentence or a generative sentence or a sentence of commitment very early in a piece of writing can help guide a writer in the proper direction and help the writer to stay on the topic, is what it amounts to.
No, I never thought of a thesis sentence that way. I mean, it's something to actually help a writer develop an essay.
A lot of students don't realize that a thesis sentence is an aid to writing if they use it properly. And also, it tells the reader what to expect in the essay. And that brings us to the second part of this interview. Dr. Hairston has some things to say about the reader.
One of the things I tell my students constantly is, if there's any way for the reader to get lost, the reader will get lost. And therefore, a writer needs to be giving cues to a reader all the time. Little hints, reminders that we are going in this direction. Things like, therefore, or in addition, or we will now see that. You can call them transitions, you can call them signals, whatever you may wish to. But a title and a thesis sentence are very important cues to readers that push them in the right direction, set limits to what they expect to get. And readers form expectations very early in a piece of writing. After 2 or 3 sentences, they are saying to themselves, perhaps not literally, but in a way they are saying, oh, now I see what this is going to be about. Now I can expect thus and so. Such as in the sentence I gave about there have been major changes in the teaching of writing. The reader now expects to hear about these major changes. Therefore, he or she is going to be looking for these and is more ready for the message that the writer will give. So they're very important directions in a thesis sentence.
So the thesis sentence is as important for the reader as it is for the writer.
Of course, it tells the reader what to expect in the paper.
And that's just the point. You know, the dread of the thesis sentence is actually a fear of stating an opinion and then supporting it.
So you mean a good thesis sentence requires a real commitment from the writer?
Right. So when you write that essay, give us a strong thesis sentence.
Let's not be too rigid about this. While you're writing, remember that a thesis sentence is not cast in stone. I think that's the phrase Dr. Hairston uses. Anyway, here she expresses the idea very well.
I think a certain amount of brainstorming, preparation, generative activity of some kind needs to go on before the writer actually puts down a thesis sentence. So, if you take a topic like changes in the teaching of writing, the writer would need to sit down and maybe make some scratch notes, do some free writing, that is, just put down anything that comes to mind, and find out what it is that he or she wants to say in a paper. And when the writer has some idea what the purpose is, what direction the writing is going to go, then it's probably a good idea to put down a thesis sentence. Now, I think students should realize, all writers should realize, that a thesis sentence is not cast in stone. You can use it for a while, you can use it as an anchor to try to remind yourself, okay, I promised to do these things, because it will act as a guide. However, later, if you look back and you think, well, that's a pretty boring sentence, maybe I could find a better way to get into this, then you might want to go back and say, well, I don't need this anymore, or I'm going to move it further down in the piece. But you need to keep the idea, you need to keep the commitment that you have made through this kind of a sentence that does what the title suggests, and that is, articulates the thesis for a piece of writing, that one that the reader can expect.
Well, those pre-writing stages, taking notes, free writing.
Don't forget clustering.
Oh, yes, clustering. They all set the stage for the thesis sentence.
And then, as Dr. Hairston says, the thesis sentence guides the essay. You know, when I'm writing something that requires a thesis sentence, I like to keep that sentence right in front of me.
So you think I should work that way too?
Well, I think over time, all writers have to develop their own methods.
I agree, but to an extent it depends on the topic you choose.
Sure, if it's something that you know about or have a personal opinion on.
Which for you, Norm, has been standard equipment since the cradle.
Anyway, then you may come up with a thesis sentence more quickly. The essential thing is to decide upon a limited topic and develop the thesis to work with.
You make it sound so easy.
You can do it, and so can your friend Darwin.
Darwin?
Yeah, he's a friend of mine who's having an awful hard time with essays.
Now, that's why this topic is so important to our course. Students have to deal with essays and essay exams all the way through college.
That's true, and a lot of instructors look for a thesis sentence when they start grading papers.
Really? A thesis sentence?
Well, they may not call it that, but they look for a clear statement of what the student is going to say.
Well, from the looks of these, they're frequently disappointed.
What are they?
No, some student essays I was able to borrow. Let me see. I have selected 3 examples to show common problems that students have, and I've divided them into 3 groups, 2 broad, 2 factual, 2 vague. Let's start with this one. The duties of LVNs and RNs...
Those are nurses.
Thank you, Norm.
are similar in some ways and quite different in others.
I'd say it's too vague.
Doesn't commit you to an idea or give you a way to organize the paper.
Now, back to what Dr. Hairston said about thesis sentences being able to generate ideas.
Exactly. Here's another one. The Vietnam War can be compared to the American Revolution.
Well, that's an intriguing idea, but I think the subject needs to be dealt with in something a little longer, like a book or a doctoral dissertation.
Last one. Some people like to own their own homes, while others prefer renting. Now, that's a fact, not a thesis sentence.
But thesis sentences shouldn't be factual?
Well, in an essay, you want to do more than present facts. You want to offer opinions, perhaps backed up with facts.
So how would you fix a sentence like that?
Let me give it a try. Though renting has advantages, the financial and personal rewards of owning your own home far outweigh them.
Better. There, you're taking a stand, and you really got something to write about.
So in the essay I'm going to write, you want me to take a stand on something?
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll go home this evening, and I'll try to develop the right topic. And I have a few ideas.
Good. I'd really like to see what you can come up with.
Okay.
Hey, Cassie.
Oh, Darwin, I thought you were going to call.
Well, you said you'd be here working. Hey, look, I finally got this thing started. I found a topic I like better, made it easier. It's just 3 pages. Take 5 minutes. Tell me what you think.
Okay, 5 minutes. You want some coffee, tea, something over there?
Oh, coffee, thanks.
Okay. Oh, Darwin, you've got a problem here. Now, don't just mean you're changing your topic from movies to boxing.
What's wrong with it?
Let me start from the top. Back in the 19th century, people boxed with their bare fists. If you think boxing is tough now, you should have seen it then. Men fought until one man fell out. Today they fight a set number of rounds. So where's the essay leading?
Well, keep reading. Down to here.
See? Boxing may not be as tough as it was long ago. Today it has more rules and also fulfills the qualities society values in competitive sports.
There's the thesis.
Where? The rules of boxing? The history of boxing where?
No, boxing fulfills the qualities society values in competitive sports.
Yeah, but you brought up a lot of other ideas and you spent time on them too.
I didn't think I should just introduce something and then drop it.
Well, you shouldn't introduce it at all. Now, see, if there's one thing I've learned writing the script for this show, I've learned that.
I wish Norm was here so he could take a look at this.
You don't need Norm. You just need to follow some simple steps. You've got the information. You have the research. Now take your thesis, write a sentence, and let that sentence work for you.
How? How's it going to work for me?
Okay, first, give me a sentence. Just a clear, simple statement of your thesis. The point you want to make.
Oh, all right. I think that professional boxing fulfills the qualities that society values in competitive sports.
Okay, now we can start from there. So what are those qualities?
Well, they're listed here. Athletic ability, discipline, courage.
Okay, now the structure of your essay is right there. Now, your thesis sentence is too broad as it is, so let your reader know right in your thesis what those qualities are.
How?
Well, include that in the thesis sentence. Okay, make that period there a colon, and then name the qualities.
All right.
Okay.
I think our professional boxing fulfills the qualities society values in competitive sports. Athletic ability, discipline, and courage. If I do that, I can't organize the whole paper around that one sentence.
Darwin, I think you have licked the dreaded thesis sentence.
May I work here for a while?
Sure, but now remember I have some work to do here, too.
Oh, Cassie, I'll try not to bother you.
Norm, one morning, just one, I would like to walk into this office before you.
Oh, get in tune with nature, Jenny. Rise with the sun.
Hey, from the look of Cassie's desk, she must have beaten you.
No, she was working late last night on the essay for the program.
Hey, have you seen the Hairston interview tape anywhere?
Jenny, you're going to start reviewing tapes before you have a cup of coffee or even take off your coat?
Well, I woke up this morning thinking about something we didn't discuss yesterday.
Oh, what's that?
Well, the fact that you don't need a thesis sentence for every kind of writing.
Well, if you're talking about lab tests and field trip reports and that sort of thing, I'd agree with you.
Yeah, but what about essays that begin with anecdotes or descriptions?
Oh, Jenny, why complicate the issue? You know, we have to limit our own topic, too.
Well, this is part of the topic. Anyway, I want to know if Dr. Hairston had anything to say about it. You sure you haven't seen that tape?
Look on Cassie's desk. Everything else seems to have wandered over there.
Hey, what's this? There are people who say professional boxing should be banned, but those who understand the nature of boxing disagree. We should not ban the sport, but encourage it, because professional boxing fulfills the qualities society values in all competitive sports: athletic ability, discipline, and courage.
Good morning.
Cassie, before you say one more word, would you please tell me why you did this?
Did what?
This is your essay for the program. Oh, I see, Norman. You put her up to it, didn't you?
To what?
To this essay? How could you do it after I was such a good sport about not using mine?
Do what?
There is no way you're going to use this. Now listen to this. Not ban the sport, encourage it. Boxing fulfills the quality society values. I mean, I even recognize your style, Norman.
My style?
Do either one of you think it's fair to use something like this in the program?
Norm hadn't.
I think we should just put this subject aside.
Hold on. You got it all wrong. Norm didn't write this. It's mine. I wrote it.
You?
It's for my sociology class. I was going to ask Norm to look at it this morning, but why waste anybody's time?
Oh, great.
Cassie, thanks. But if I'm going to have to write in college, I guess I might as well quit.
Oh, Darwin, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, there's something I don't understand. How did he get this topic in the first place?
I showed him your old college essay, that's all.
You did?
Yeah, to spark his interest. But he happened to take a different point of view. I mean, that's something you can do in an essay, right? State an opinion, take a stand.
What am I going to do?
Oh, you've done it now. I'll be right back.
This is a paper I wrote 14 years ago in college.
I can see what you mean.
Oh, Darwin, I think you should know that sometimes I act before I think.
Yeah, Norm told me.
Well, I mean, what I said had nothing to do with the way the paper was written.
Yeah, he told me that, too.
And I do understand. In my first college papers, I had terrible problems, too.
Norm called it the dread of the thesis sentence.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to know it wasn't unusual.
Yeah, but let's face it, you guys are writers. You got a knack for it or something. I don't.
Darwin, if it's one thing I've learned, it's not an act.
Cassie's right. Writing a good, clear paper is a skill that can be learned.
I don't know.
Oh, Darwin, I bet you know more than you think you know. For example, tell me some techniques for developing a topic.
Oh, you mean like brainstorming and free writing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cassie told me those.
Yeah, but you used them.
And you know how to use Burke's pen pad to develop a thesis, and you can do it again.
Okay, I guess I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't write your thesis sentence. You did.
Actually, I thought the opening worked pretty well.
Are you serious?
Well, it worked well enough to set me off, didn't it?
It sure did.
I think it means that you can express an idea in a clear sentence.
Well, you know, last night after I finished writing this, I did feel pretty good about it.
Well, you should feel pretty good about it.
I just hope my sociology teacher likes it. As things do today, I'm just glad it's over with.
It's not over yet. But, Darwin, you're learning some important skills that'll help you through college and through the rest of your life.
Cassie, there are times when you do have a way with words.